Well, hello everyone. I will start on the 2-minute mark, and I just started. So if you're watching this right now, it means you're on the recording because nobody has clicked on yet because I just started. And we finally have a live viewer. Welcome. We'll start on the 2-minute mark. Hi, Linda. We're 20 seconds in. We're going to start on the 2-minute mark. Hot button, hot topic issue, but you know, I'm about no drama. Healthcare is dramatized. This is going to be the no drama talk about healthcare. Hi, Julie. Hi, 12 other people. Holy cow. We're going to start in a minute and a half. Hi, Angela. Hi, Nicole. We're going to start in a minute and 20 seconds. Hi, Lynn. This is going to be the no drama talk about healthcare. In fact, you will not even know whether I lean left or right, Republican or Democrat. You just won't know because this is not a dramatization or a partisan hackery or trickery of healthcare. We're going to start in one more minute. I love all the hearts, everybody. Lynn, you're watching me. Lynn, I know you like me. You have a hard time admitting it, but you like me, Lynn. I think you like me a lot. Starting in a minute and 45 seconds. Healthcare. Ooh. How does one talk about healthcare without politicizing it and being a partisan hack and no drama? I can't wait. Yes, Lynn. You ha 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 all you want. You know you like me a lot. Hi, Shanna. Awesome to see you. So we're going to be starting in about another 20 seconds. What am I going to say? I don't know. This is totally unscripted. I'll figure it out. Lynn, I'm not taking my shirt off before I begin. I'm sorry. I know you want that very badly. Hi, Shannon. And guys, feel free to comment and participate as I'm talking, okay? All right, 2 minutes in, so let's get started. So yeah, feel free to participate as we do this. So, healthcare. We have this thing called the Affordable Health Care Act, known as Obamacare. I like to call it the Unaffordable Health Care Act because almost nobody can afford it. Now, this is a very nuanced topic matter. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Linda. And most people that talk about healthcare, especially politicians, people in the media, and people shouting very loudly on Facebook, they don't consider nuances involved at all. It's usually pretty black or white, and that's not the case with it. So I'm going to talk about how it can be something for everybody to where it's not even a thing in this country anymore. The fact that it's actually a thing is really gross and egregious, but it doesn't need to be a thing. So before the Unaffordable Health Care Act, half the country could not afford health insurance. A lot of people die. A lot of people suffer needlessly. Post Unaffordable Health Care Act, half the country cannot afford health care. So still, it's half and half. Before it's half, after the fact, it's half. It's just the halves have flip-flopped. Now, here's what they do in the media and politics and, you know, most people in general shouting on Facebook about it. Both camps of this fight. Before the Unaffordable Health Care Act, they will have dramatic, true stories, genuine stories of people who suffered and people who died because of the way that healthcare was. And after the fact, the same thing. People on the other side of the aisle, the other side of that fence, whatever you want to call it, they have stories too. And they're cherry-picking stories to support their own narrative because neither side is interested in the truth. Their priority is not the truth. The priority is their narrative, and the truth is somewhere below, but it's their narrative. And it doesn't matter if you're talking about healthcare or whatever, any issue. If you want to support a preconceived idea or a preconceived narrative, you can cherry-pick information to support either side. And what you have to do that is surrender, just give up your critical thinking faculties, just forget that you have a brain and you can make discernments and recognize nuances. And then once you do that, that's the price you pay, just give up your free thought and you can cherry pick information that supports the narrative on either side or a new one that you invent. It doesn't matter. And they certainly do that with healthcare. Politicians, media, and people shouting on Facebook, they do it as well. Hi, Nivea. So here's a more nuanced way, rational, truthful way to look at it. Before the Unaffordable Health Care Act, half the people could not afford health insurance. Lots of people died and suffered needlessly. Post Unaffordable Health Care Act, Half the country can't afford to use it. Lots of people suffer and died needlessly. They're just, the half that couldn't afford it has flip-flopped. So before the Unaffordable Health Care Act, the half that couldn't afford it were people that were poor. Unacceptable. Now, since the Unaffordable Health Care Act, the people that can't afford it are people that can afford it. That's kind of ironic, it's backwards, but here's how it works. Basically, if you have a job and you're making money to support yourself and you're not declared living under poverty, as it's declared by, defined by the IRS and the federal government, if you're not living in poverty, which for a single filer is something like $9,000 less a year that you make, or a family of four at $20,000 if you make more than that, then you're not declared poverty. So therefore, you have to buy your own health insurance. However, here's the problem. You have to pay for yourself in addition to one other person, because it's half and half, so the ratio is split about 1-to-1. So literally, if you're going to have a job and work to make money, if you're the working class, you have to pay for your own health insurance plus one other person. By default, it's not sustainable because most people are living paycheck to paycheck or worse. So let alone afford their own health insurance, they can't afford somebody else, but they have to. That's the law. That's the way that it is. So now half the country has health insurance because they're declared poverty, so they get it for free to them, but it's not free. It's just free to them. The other half of the country is saddled with that burden. So half of the country that is making poverty wages or no wages at all, they're in poverty, they get it for free to them, but on the backs of the other half of the country. So the other half of the country has to pay for their own health insurance as well as somebody else. Here's what's going on. Premiums obviously have gone up by 300 or 400% or 60%. It's a wide number, right? Wide range, but it's gone up a lot. And the deductibles have gone up even more than that. And in some instances, I was talking to somebody the other day, it's like, yeah, I have a great job. I'm of the working class, blue collar. I only have to pay $28 a month in my healthcare premiums. It's like, wow, well, what are your deductibles? And he told me it's $8,000 deductible. This person, and this is representative of the average working class person, this person doesn't have an extra $8,000 in their pocket if something happens, and that's per year, $8,000 deductible per year. So it's like, wow, I get a $28 monthly premium. That's fantastic, but if I get sick, I can't afford to use it because it's an $8,000 deductible. So that $28 a month is just wasted. But because it's codified into law now, I have to do it. So it's $28 wasted for somebody that can't even afford to use it if they ever needed it. That's the way that it is right now. So here's what we have. If you're of the half of the country that's in poverty, hi Amber Dawn, hi Sissy. If you're of the half of the country that's in poverty, you get health care for free, saddled on the backs of other people that cannot afford it. So now the other half, they can afford it. In other words, they're enrolled in some plan, but if they got sick, they could never use it because they don't have an extra $8,000 or whatever the deductible is. They just don't. They're paycheck to paycheck or worse. That's what we have right now. Before the Unaffordable Health Care Act, otherwise known as the Affordable Health Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare, before that was enacted, it was the other half of the country that couldn't afford health insurance, which was, the half that's poor, that's in poverty. So either way that you slice it, half the country couldn't afford it then, and now the other half can't afford it. So either way, it's the same. There's no progress that's been made at all. But when you hear the debate and the arguing and the fighting that happens in Congress and politics and the media, they don't tell it like that. They're not reflecting the truth of what's happening. What they do is they'll cherry pick information. They'll take stories of people, really sad, genuine stories, and they'll cherry pick those stories to support their own narrative. No matter which side of the fence you're on, you're going to have an equal number, equal number. It's not a false equivalence, it's an equal equivalence. No matter what side of the fence you're on, you're going to have an equal number of really sad, emotional stories to support your own narrative. And that's the ultimate manipulation that's happening. And unfortunately, probably 49 out of 50 people, I'm guessing, educatedly guessing, buy into that narrative, whether they're on one side or the other. And I don't see many people at all, maybe 1 out of 50, that's actually standing on the edge of this, looking at both sides from the edge and taking in the big picture and realizing, oh my God, before the Unaffordable Health Care Act, half the country couldn't afford health insurance. Post Unaffordable Health Care Act, half the country cannot afford health insurance. All the while, the media and politicians are painting some picture like, depending on their narrative. It's all bullshit. It's complete bullshit. So here's the solution for it. And this is just very philosophical. This isn't so much opinionated as it is based on evidence. I prioritize evidence over faith, just so you guys know. Evidence, logic, and reason over faith. So here's the solution based on empirical, non-metaphysical evidence, okay? And it's a few things. So number one, there needs to be healthcare. Healthcare needs to be non-profit. I love capitalism, but there's a time and place for it. There's a time and place for socialism. There's a time and place for capitalism. When it comes to healthcare coverage, that should be socialism. That should not be capitalism. We're talking about people's lives. So, like our prison systems, that should not be for profit. Our prison systems and our healthcare coverage should be non-profit. People should not be allowed to profit from prison systems or healthcare coverage. That's the first thing. Secondly, and in no particular order, by the way, there needs to be incentives in place for people to lead healthy lifestyles. Maybe get a break on your taxes. I know there has been some steps in that direction, but not too much, but it needs to go a lot further. So incentives to live a healthy lifestyle. You get tax breaks, maybe you pay less insurance, deductibles, premiums, something. There should be incentives. Another thing, and this next one I bring up is going to be more preventative, but the government subsidies, picture this, all 100%, at least so far, of government subsidies that goes towards our food supply, the things that determine our health, and if we're, to a degree, if we're going to need health care or not. The government subsidies that go towards food and big agriculture and the production of our food and the sourcing of our food and so forth, it goes to farmers who grow food that has been proven to cause harm and health problems to human beings. If you're a farmer and you're growing food with pesticides and genetically modified organisms and other things like that that have been proven to cause harm to human health, you get up to 40% of your income paid for by the government, aka tax-paying citizens, aka more specifically, if you have a job, that burden is on you. So that needs to be flip-flopped. The government subsidies need to be going towards organic, anti-GMO farmers. That one shift alone will create an environment of food, manufacturing, big agriculture where you can go to the grocery store and when you look at the price tag of food, the cheaper food is going to be the food that actually helps you get healthy. And the more expensive food is going to be the food that makes you less healthy. And as far as scandals go, that's got to be up there among the biggest scandals ever in history, that our government willfully subsidizes the farmers who poison us, and they penalize the farmers that make us well. If that's not a scandal, I don't know what is. That is the scandal among scandals. That is the scandal that helps a pharmaceutical industry profit $500 billion a year. That's $500 billion a year on people's sickness because of the foods they eat and the stress they have and things like that. So our government subsidies have to be reversed. They need to go from farmers that are harming us to farmers that are helping us. And how that's not painfully obvious is beyond me. I don't know. But that has to happen. Now here's another thing that has to happen. I don't know if you know this, but Medicare and other entities have zero bargaining rights with drug companies. That means the drug company in the United States only can set a price for a drug and nobody can question it, nobody can bargain with it, so they can set whatever price they want. And what do? The drug companies, they price gouge the fuck out of us. They have markups as high as 5,000% because they can. Nobody can question it. Nobody can contest it because it's barred by law. It's the honest to God truth. Medicare, Medicaid, anybody cannot negotiate with drug companies. It's barred by law. That law needs to be reversed. Everyone should have, we're pro-capitalist in this country, right? Is there anything more anti-capitalism than taking away somebody's bargaining rights, their negotiating rights? That's anti-capitalism. So we preach so much about being, capitalism, we're a capitalist country. Then we should be able to bargain for this. And this is something, by the way, a drug that saves people's lives can be marked up 5,000%. And if you can't get it, you die. You suffer, you die. And nobody can negotiate or bargain for a better price because it's barred by law. We're talking about drugs that save people's lives. So there needs to be new legislation that allows bargaining. Just that one thing alone would bring down the price of drugs tremendously, as it is in Canada. That's the main reason why drugs are cheaper in Canada. And they're drugs that are coming from the same manufacturers that give us our drugs in the United States. The difference is in Canada, they can bargain with the drug companies. In the United States, we can't. It's illegal. That's the primary reason why drugs are cheaper in Canada. So when a politician says that, we don't trust the safety procedures, it might be dangerous drugs, that's bullshit. They're made by the same damn company. Politicians, most of them are liars, and we all know that, but that's one example of where they are. And what a scandal that is. Where is the media? Where is people on Facebook talking about that? I don't know. People on Facebook and people in the media, even just average Joe citizens shouting out on the Facebook news feeds. I think one reason why a lot of people are numbed out to the shouting on Facebook is because people are not nuanced about these issues. They're very black or white, and there's only so much of that you can listen to until you just drown it out. And so this live feed is the opposite of that. At least I hope you guys see it that way. This is a very nuanced, rational look at healthcare and how we can have healthcare for everyone so that it's not even a thing. In the top 3, I forget if it's 1, 2, or 3, but somewhere in the top 3 causes of financial bankruptcy in this country is medical bills, medical emergency bills, because all it takes is one medical emergency and you're done. You're destroyed for the rest of your life. Yeah, you might have health insurance. It might even be at $30 a month, $100 a month premiums, but your deductible, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 a year. And for most people, they're living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have that. Almost nobody can afford to use it. So you're done. You're wiped out. With one medical emergency, you're done. So what I've gone over before this part, that's all ways that we can fix that so that it doesn't even have to be a thing. If we implement all those ideas I just suggested based on empirical evidence, not so much my opinions or theories, this is empirical evidence-based. Logic and reasoning over faith. If we implemented those things in our country, then everybody would be covered. And this would not even be a thing in our country. It really wouldn't. So, there you go, people. I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to share it. And my website is tombirkenmeyer.com. That's tombirkenmeyer.com. Take out the space, spell just like it is on social media. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Shanna. Tom for president. Oh, boy. What kind of a president would I be? I don't know. All right, I'm going to scroll back up now and read these messages. And I'll respond. So please keep commenting. And I'll stay here as long as you guys are participating and not a bump on a log, okay? Julie says hi. Hi, Julie. Do you have anything else to say, Julie? Then hi. Hi, Angela. Lynn, are you still there? I did not take my shirt off, so I hope you're still here anyway. My God. Hi, Nicole. Oh, let's see here. Hey, Shannon, didn't see you pop in. Hi. Let's see, Cynthia says, rich have been getting richer and the poor are suffering. Yeah, that's a whole nother video, man, that's for sure. I will go off on a little tangent on that. Who's burdened with paying for this healthcare debacle and the wars that we're in around the world, the nation rebuilding, and just government waste in general. Do you know who pays for that? The working class. If you're going to have a job, you're saddled with all of that. Just so you know, the real rich don't have to pay for those things, at least not much. And I'm not talking about loopholes. That's a different set of people. But having a job, financially, having a job is the biggest ripoff and the biggest scandal and the biggest pyramid scam ever devised against mankind. I'm not talking about the work that you do. The work is noble, but as far as how you get paid at a job, it's the biggest scam, the biggest ripoff ever. You have to pay for all the government's waste in every facet if you're going to have a job. Shanna, you'd vote for me. Well, thank you very much. I paid big pharma reps. Yeah, Cynthia, that's true. Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly, nice to see you here. Crystal says, yes. Shanna says, truth. Cynthia is watching. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Mary Jo. Hi, Amber Donnelly. You're looking down at the camera. Show us where you are. I'm in my house. I've got a thing on my camera that attaches to the back of it so that it can tilt upward. And I don't have my tripod here with me at the moment, so if I had my tripod, I could position it like this, but I don't. And I'm going to be hands-free, so I got it like this. Amber Donnelly, are you even still there? You're going to comment and not even stick around? Or did you stick around? You'll have to let me know. Hi, Sissy Maxwell. Nice to see you. Hi, Liz. Let's see here. Okay, I'm all caught up with the comments now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video because it looks like everyone's all tuckered out and I don't see any more participation. So I'll give it another second or so. Hi, Honorine. I'll give it another couple seconds or so. And if there's no participation, if you guys don't have any more questions or things you want me to talk about more, if you want me to expand on something, now is your chance. Otherwise, I'm going to turn this off. I'll tap the finish button. And for those of you that got on late, once I tap finish, it'll be available on my Facebook timeline just a few seconds later. Facebook is pretty quick at that. Okay? I will do a music video. You don't have to worry about that, Shanna, for sure. I love doing music. I love music. Yes, I do. Music is so wonderful. Okay. Well, there's nothing else relevant to this particular video, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. Remember, my website is TomBerkenmeyer.com. TomBerkenmeyer.com. And share this with people if you'd like, if you thought this was a pretty good live feed. A rational, very rational, nuanced discussion about healthcare. Okay? Bye for now, everybody. Mwah.